completely unknown brand has been making big waves in the Indian motorcycle market. The story started way back in 2014 and things just jumped off the scale at the 2016 Auto Expo when Global unveiled their range of cruisers for India. These motorcycles are apt for the Indian motorcyclists who are heading out and exploring the country, and their lineup has been priced very well, but I think the reason why it's attracted so much attention is the way the bikes look.
Cruiser family is called Renegade, and these two pre-production prototypes for test are the Sport S and the Commando. Yes, the bikes look inspired. The Commando seems to be a scaled-down Harley-Davidson fat boy, but it doesn't look like a cheap rip-off. The design is proportionate and attractive. In fact, it looks substantial. The 16-inch front wheel and the tall tire sidewall give it a more weighty look at the front. The deep and boxy fender and chunky 140-section tire at the rear completes the look. The rest of the design is minimal, as it should be, with the speedometer console embedded on the tank. The handlebars are wide and seat the rider in an upright position. The seat itself is comfy, and the pillion gets a backrest as well. In terms of features, the Commando has a simple analog and digital instrument cluster, and it has a USB port as well. Very cleverly, has kept the majority of the components the same, but have managed to give the two motorcycles completely different looks. The Sport S is bright and racy. To get the stance right, the Sport S uses a 17-inch front rim with a lower profile tire as compared to the Commando. And to make it visually lighter, the fenders are smaller as well. The Suzuki Intruder-like fairing for the headlamp, the flat drag handlebar, and of course the superb contrasting paint make the Sport S very attractive. The LED lights on the 4 tank scoops are an extra here, but they do look a bit tacky. While the instrument cluster is identical to the Commando, on the Sport S it is mounted on the handlebar. However, the handlebar lock is quite painful to reach.
There's no doubt about it, wherever these motorcycles go, they're going to turn heads. But it's when you hop onto the saddle and examine them a little bit closely, you realize fit, finish, and quality isn't as good as you would have expected it to be. Plastics feel a bit flimsy at places, not as well fitted, and well, some things just don't seem as well aligned. For instance, the handlebar on this feels a bit off.
And the problem is that there are plenty more of such instances. For instance, water had seeped into the LED strips. The switches were crudely shaped. Indicators were not aligned. The fork shroud clanged over bumps on the Commando. And even though there was plenty of fuel, the fuel gauge read a little too low. And the badges looked like they would fall off after a wash.
So overall, in terms of the quality and finish, it could have been better. But what we also want to find out is whether the motorcycles have the potential of getting Bajaj Avenger customers to scale up, or Royal Enfield customers to look this way. For that, we have to hop onto the saddle.
Both these motorcycles are powered by a 279cc single-cylinder liquid-cooled engine, but in the interest of keeping costs down, they use a carburetor instead of fuel injection. At almost 25 bhp, power is healthy, and so is the 21.8 Nm of torque. As can be expected from a short-stroke 4-valve engine, everything is just made a little higher up in the rev range, which isn't ideal for a cruiser. And weighing in at 172 kilograms, the bikes are also on the heavier side. But there is a 6-speed gearbox to help things along. Sadly, the ratios chosen end up blunting the performance. For instance, you can do 70 kilometers per hour in first gear and 105 in second. Quite simply, the gearing is too tall. So you end up needing to rev up the engine to get going. The good thing is, the short-stroke engine can be revved hard. So you can get to 140 kph, but the bikes just seem to lose steam after that, no matter which gear you are in.
Now when it comes to the engine, things are a bit of a mixed bag. The performance, for instance, it's quite happy to amble along at low speeds with gentle throttle inputs. But when you really open the gas, you'll find that it feels a little dull as compared to what you would have expected from a near 300cc engine. And the other thing is the refinement. It's smooth as long as you're under 70-80 kilometers an hour, but when you climb higher up the speed range, you'll find there is a bit of a buzz through the pegs and the bars, and that will get annoying when you are doing long distances. And the other really annoying bit is the gearbox. It just feels very socky. But there is an area where the motorcycles feel quite special.
Both motorcycles share a rugged, split dual cradle frame. They use a traditional telescoping fork at the front, twin shock absorbers at the rear, and a box section swing arm. So, they are simple but rugged all around. The Commando uses wire spoke wheels, while the Sport S uses alloys. Cornering clearance is quite limited, even by cruiser standards, but the tires from TVS are spot on and give you plenty of confidence whether through the corners or when braking hard. Yes, the single 280mm disc brake at the front lacks in feel, but it provides plenty of bite.
Now the most enjoyable part about these motorcycles has to be the way the chassis and suspension work. The steering feels light and precise, there's great amount of confidence from the tires, great straight line stability as well, so this will be an easy motorcycle for newer riders to hop onto as well. The seat height is also very low, and along with that you get great ride quality. The suspension not only gives you the sense of stability, it also soaks up bad roads quite well.
With an 18-liter fuel tank, the Renegades should offer a solid range. Surprisingly, motorcycles have launched the Renegade Sport S at 1.49 lakh rupees, while the Commando is offered at 1.59 lakh rupees ex-showroom Delhi. They are temptingly priced, but are they worth your money?
The bottom line, if you are in the market for a cruiser, the Renegade siblings deserve a closer look. You can see that and Loya have got several things right. The chassis and suspension are the highlights, no doubt. And the engine, if it could be tweaked for better responsiveness and refinement, would certainly hit the spot. There are areas such as fit finish and refinement which bring the question of longevity into the spotlight. Now if and Loya could fix that, the Renegade siblings could be serious contenders in the cruiser market.
Motorcycles have promised that the final production spec bikes for review will be available around September. Let's hope cruiser enthusiasts will have something to cheer for then, because as of now, the Renegade Commando and Sport S have a lot of promise that they haven't quite lived up to.